Hello everyone, welcome to practice today. My name is Akila, and I'm going to be taking you through a class today that is designed to open the heart and help you improve your posture so you can stand a little bit taller, a little bit more confident. So today you're going to want to have 2 blocks for class. If you don't have blocks with you, you can use books or any item of a similar size and shape. Really, we're just using them today to bring the floor a little bit closer in some of the poses. So that's all that you will need for class today. And some comfy clothes and a mat. So you can come into any comfortable seat you'd like to start and just take the eyes to close. We'll just start here by lengthening the breath. Make sure it's full and intentional. And I'll encourage you here to inhale and exhale through the nose. So keeping the lips sealed here. So you start to breathe in deeply. Maybe notice a brief pause at the top of the breath before the exhale falls out of your nose. And even here, as you're starting to bring awareness to your breathing, see if you can also bring the attention to your posture. And if you'd like to prop your fingertips slightly behind you to encourage yourself a little bit further forward on the sit bones, encouraging the shoulders to drop down and back. Or if you're feeling really tight in the hips, you can also sit up onto your block. And we'll take one more deep breath in here. Little hold at the top. And exhale, let it go. And gently blink the eyes open. And you can meet me in a tabletop position. So we're going to meet with the wrists underneath of the shoulders, knees underneath of the hips. We're going to press firmly into the palms of the hands. Drop the belly towards the floor and open the chest forward. Send the sit bones back. On your exhale, you're going to press firmly into the hands to round into the spine. Maybe look towards the knees or the belly button. Inhale, we'll drop the belly. We'll come into a cow back. And then as you exhale, pressing into the hands, curling the spine, looking in towards the belly button. Really pressing the tops of the feet into the ground here as well. One more time, inhale, pull the chest through. And exhale, pressing into the hands, rounding into the back. This is your cat back. Next inhale takes you back through your neutral position. You're going to tuck onto the toes, lift the hips up and back on the diagonal downward facing dog. So here we really want to prioritize the length in the spine. So if you're finding yourself rounding it all forward here like this, you want to bend into the knees generously so you can send the hips up and back. So the goal here is the spaciousness in the spine over the straightness of the legs. Deep inhale here. Exhale, we settle. Now we're going to be revisiting the cat and the cow back a lot throughout class today. So we're going to use that same articulation of the spine, but we're going to take a little variation of it. So on your next inhale, your right foot is going to step forward between the hands. Drop your left knee to the floor. And if you need to use your blocks, you can bring them next to the front foot. So you can peel the chest forward like your cow back you were doing in your tabletop. We're going to rock the hips back, straighten into the right leg, and then you're going to curl the spine. So we're in our half Hanuman here, but with the cat back. Inhale, bends into the front knee, pulls the chest through, open. Exhale, we rock the hips back, straighten into the front leg, curl the spine. Inhale one more time, pull the chest forward as you bend into the front knee. Maybe gaze comes up towards the ceiling. And exhale, we rock the hips back, straighten into that front leg, curl the spine, look in towards the belly button. Your next inhale bends into your front knee, your back knee lifts, and we're just going to transit to the other side through a wide-legged forward fold. So you'll come towards the edge of your mat and then to the back of your mat. And we bend into the left knee, right knee taps the floor. Same thing, inhale here, pull the chest forward, finding that little arch in the back. Exhale, backs the hips up, straighten into the front leg and curl your spine in. Look towards your belly button. Inhale, bends into the left knee, open the chest forward. The sternum, your center point of your chest, should be pointing towards the wall in front of you. As we exhale, coordinate with the cat back, and we straighten into the front leg. Inhale takes you forward one more time, bend into the front knee, pull the chest through. And exhale, rock the hips back, straighten into the front leg, and curl as much as you can. Chin comes to chest. Next, inhale takes you forward, back knee lifts, and we come back the way we came, facing the edge of the mat through your forward fold. And then we're going to step it back into your downward facing dog. Big inhale here. And exhale, we settle. So we're going to come into some sun salutation A's here. We are going to do a little variation on it so we can strengthen the back a little bit more. Really prepare the spine for what we're about to do next. So your inhale, you look forward between your hands. Come onto the balls of the feet and bend into the knees. And then we're going to take a series of baby steps to come all the way to the front of the mat in a forward fold. Inhale, find some length in your spine. You can take your hands to shins or you can bring your blocks underneath of your shoulders here. Exhale, let the head fall towards the floor. Skull heavy. Inhale rolls you gently up all the way through the spine to stand. Arms reach up overhead. And the exhale takes the hands through the heart and down by the sides, Tadasana. Inhale takes the arms up and out overhead. Exhale, we fold over the legs, waterfall towards the floor. Inhale, finding a bit of length in the spine here. Exhale, bend any amount into the knees that you need to plant the hands to the floor. We're going to step back to a plank pose. So here, see if you can be wide across the collarbone, but really have a neutral spine here. So if you're finding your belly is sagging towards the floor, you really want to try and lift it up and in. Alternatively, we don't want to be too rounded. So really try and keep yourself in this mid-range position. One more inhale here. Exhale from the toes, or you can drop the knees to lower all the way down to the belly. You're going to untuck the toes here. Take the hands by the side. And on your inhale, you're going to lift your chest from the floor, arms reach back. And on your exhale, maybe the toes lift from the floor as well. One more deep inhale here. And on your exhale, let it release towards the floor. Plant the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes. Take it back through a tabletop position. And then you're going to send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So the head is heavy here. Really firm press into the palms of the hands. Again, any amount of bend in the knees that you need to keep the integrity in that long spine. Next inhale, looks forward between the hands, come up onto the toes, bend into the knees. You can take your steps again, or if you'd like to add in a little hop, you can. Finding your forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, find a length in the spine, chest pulls forward. Maybe use the blocks. And exhale, fold over the legs, let the head hang heavy. Inhale, rolls you all the way up to stand, arms reach up and out overhead. And exhale, the hands come through the heart, down by the sides, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up and out overhead. Exhale, right back where we came, forward fold. Head is heavy, neck is relaxed. Inhale, maybe a bend in the knees, maybe use of the blocks to pull the chest forward, finding some length. And exhale, bend into the knees if you need to plant the hands. We're going to step the feet back, find your plank pose again. Inhaling here. And exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Everything arrives at exactly the same time. Untuck the toes, inhale, arms reach back, pull the chest forward, maybe the feet lift as well. Really feeling the back of the body firing up here. One more, inhale, maybe higher. And exhale, let everything drop to the floor. Hands plant under the shoulders. Tuck the toes, maybe through plank this time. Hips reach up and back, downward facing dog. Inhaling deeply here. And exhale, settle. Taking this brief moment to come back to the breath if it got a little bit hectic. We'll take one more sun A here. On your inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend into the knees and step or a little hop. Finding your way to your forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale to find a length in the spine. Sternum pulls forward towards the front of your space. And exhale, we fold over, let the head relax. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, arms reach out and up overhead. Exhale, hands come through the heart to the sides, Tadasana. One last time, we inhale, reach up and overhead. Exhale takes you to fold over the legs. Inhale, find a little bit of length. Exhale, bending into the knees, any amount that you need to plant the hands. Option here, you can press firmly into the hands, and you can try to hop back into your low push-up position. So if you're hopping back, we want to try and get as light into the feet as possible so that the weight is in the hands. And you want to land with your arms bent. So finding your way to your lowest point. Inhale for a back bend here. You can come through to your up dog, pulling to the tops of the toes, shoulders peel back. Gaze comes up. And exhale, take it up and back, downward facing dog. Big inhale here. Exhale, check in with your alignment. Is there a straight line of energy coming from your sit bones all the way down your spine to your hands? Your next inhale, you're going to take your right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Energy through the toes, pulling the leg towards that point where the ceiling meets the wall. Exhale, you're going to pull the knee into the chest, step the right foot between the hands, and gaze comes forward. You're in a low lunge. Now here, using your blocks if you'd like to, pulling the chest forward, finding that cow back. On the exhale, you're going to straighten into both legs, rock the hips back, find a pyramid pose, and round into the spine. Finding your cat back. Inhale, bends into the front knee, pulls the chest forward, finding your cow. And exhale, back the hips up, round into the spine, look towards the belly button. One more time, bend into the front knee, pull the chest through, nice and proud in the chest. And exhale as the hips pull back. You round into the spine, looking in towards the center line of the body. Next, inhale bends into your front knee to take you forward. And we're gonna come through to face the edge of your mat towards the left into a wide-legged forward fold. From here, inhale, slowly roll up through the spine. And we're gonna take the heels to come in, toes point out. And we're gonna bend into both knees for goddess pose. Now here, you really wanna make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. So if you're finding you can't see your toes and your knees are caving in, you wanna bring the toes a little bit more forward. So whatever angle your feet are at, you want to make sure you can see your big toes if you look down, and your knees are pressing back as much as you can. Hands can come to heart here. Inhale deeply. Exhale, maybe a little extra depth. One more inhale here. As you exhale, straighten into both legs, point the toes back to face forward, and release the chest over, forward fold. Your next inhale, you're gonna walk the hands to the back of your mat and bend into the left knee, finding your low lunge on the second side. Inhale, chest pulls through. Try to find that baby arch in the back. It might not be much, but it's the idea of pulling that chest forward as much as you can. Exhale, back the hips up, round into the spine, look towards the belly button, pyramid pose. Inhale, pulls the chest forward, bending into the left leg. Exhale, backing the hips up, really rounding into that spine, feel the curl. Inhale, one more time, pull forward, bending into the left knee, chest pulls through. Really active in that back leg. And exhale, pull the hips back, straighten into the front leg. Pyramid pose, rounding the spine in. We bend into the front knee one more time, pull the chest forward, nice and proud. And then we walk the hands over to the edge of the mat, coming into our forward fold. Next inhale is going to take you to roll all the way up through the spine. Again, heels come in, toes come out. And we bend into the knees for a goddess pose. Hands can come to heart again, or they can come to the hips. Options here. So you can either stay in your goddess pose as we were, or you can lift the left heel. And on the exhale, put the left heel back down. Inhale, right heel lifts. Exhale, right heel comes down. Again, inhale, left heel lifts. Exhale, heel comes down. Inhale, right heel to lift. Exhale, heel comes down. Bonus, if you'd like to try, you can lift both heels and then return them down. Next, inhale, straightens into the legs, toes point forward, and we fold over the legs. Walking the hands back to the top of your mat. We're gonna step the right foot back, finding a downward facing dog. Big inhale here. And exhale, we settle. One more inhale here. Exhale. Just finding that moment of stillness before we start into our main sequence of the flow today. So we're just going to be building on the foundation that we created and get into some more back bending. Really opening up that heart.
So on your next inhale, your right leg reaches up and back, energy through the toes, finding your three-legged dog. Exhale, knee bends and pulls into the chest. We're going to step the right foot through, finding a low lunge. Energy in that back leg. Try and think about the knee pit of the left leg coming up towards the ceiling. Inhale, chest pulls through, finding length across the collarbones here. Exhale, back the hips up, we round into the spine. Look towards the belly button. Inhale, pulling the knee forward, chest pulls through. And then from here, you can use your blocks if you'd like to for support. We're going to press firmly into the right foot, and we're going to float the left leg up, finding your warrior three. Hands can come to heart here if you'd like. Really use the energy through your back foot, pressing the ball of the foot away from you, as if there's a wall behind your left foot that you're trying to press into. Inhaling deeply here. Option if you'd like to try and bend into the left leg. And if it's accessible to you, you can reach the hands back, finding a clasp onto the left foot. And if you can find the clasp, kick into the foot and open up the chest. Big inhale here. As you exhale, if you'd like, if you have the foot, you can keep the foot as you come up to stand. Just finding a quad stretch here. Really trying to lengthen down the front of the left hip flexor. Grounding firmly into the right foot, pulling the chest through. If you didn't have the foot before and you'd like to try and grab it now, you can for this quad stretch. If you have a wall close by, you can use it for a little bit of extra stability. On your next inhale, option to take the left hand to the inside edge of the left foot. You can raise the right arm up. And if you'd like to, you can kick into the hand and come into a dancer's pose. Breathe in deeply here. And as you exhale, you can let it release. Arms reach up overhead. And on the exhale, the hands can come through the heart, down by the sides, Tadasana. Next inhale, the arms reach out and up overhead. You're going to exhale to fold forward over the legs. Inhale, finding some length in the spine. And exhale, bend into the knees, plant the hands any way you'd like to get back to downward facing dog. And we're going to take that same flow to the second side. So we'll just take a moment here in down dog. If you took a flow, you can always drop the knees to child's pose for a moment to rest. We'll take one more breath here before we repeat that on the second side. Your next inhale takes your left leg to float up and back, three-legged dog. Energy through the toes. Exhale, bend into the knee, pull the knee into the chest, step the foot through, finding a low lunge, chest pulls through. The inhale is to find your cow back in your low lunge. The exhale straightens into both legs and curls the spine in, finding your cat. One more inhale, bend into the left leg, pull the chest through. And again, option for blocks here, or the hands can come straight to heart center. We're going to press firmly into the left leg. so that the right toes can float back, finding your warrior three. Big inhale here. Exhale, pull the shoulder blades together. If you did this on the first side and you'd like to try, you can bend into the right knee. Maybe the hands come behind to find the foot. And if you can get a clasp on the foot, then kick into the hands, pulling the chest open, getting a nice stretch across the front of the pecs. One more big inhale here. And exhale, if you'd like to keep a hold on the foot, you can as you come up to stand. If you don't have a hold of the foot, you can always just bring the knee into the chest and then find your quad stretch when you come to stand. Big inhale here. Exhale, feel the lengthening down the front of the quad, opening up the hip flexor. And if you'd like to take dancer, taking your right hand to the inside edge of the right foot, left arm reaches up. Ground firmly into the left foot as you kick the right leg back. Find something unmoving to keep your gaze on. We'll take one more big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, let everything release. Both feet find the ground, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come through the heart, down by the side, Tadasana. Big inhale here. Exhale, maybe roll the shoulders down and back. Next inhale, your arms are going to reach up and overhead. For this next little bit of play, if you'd like to find a wall to help with balance, you can have a wall in front of you to hold on to, or you can have the arms up overhead. We're going to raise the heels. And on your exhale, try your best to bend into both knees, staying on the balls of the feet. Maybe you're walking your hands down your wall until the hips arrive to the heels. From here, you can lean the weight back until the knees tap to the floor. And then we're going to come up onto the shins. If you have sensitive knees, you may want to get a blanket or a pillow or something to put under your knees, or you can just fold up the edge of your mat to give you a little bit of extra padding underneath of your knees. And we're going to come into a few rounds of camel pose. So we'll start the first variation. Hands come to your low back for some support. Really press into the tops of the feet. You can have the tops of the feet on the floor, or you can tuck the toes, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And on your inhale, you're going to pull the chest up and back, using the hands to the low back for support. Just taking a nice curve into the upper back. We really want to try and make sure that the mid to upper back is what's bending. We want to try and avoid sinking into the low back only. So you want to try and make sure you're squeezing into your glutes, shoulders rolling back, chest pulling up and over. On your next inhale, we're going to come up, and you can sit back onto the heels. Release the hands, maybe roll out the wrists. So really important in camel, we want to try and distribute the back bend evenly throughout the whole spine. So if you're noticing you're either crunching in your neck only, or you're crunching into your low back a lot, you really want to try and redistribute that back bend throughout the whole spine. When you're ready, we'll come back up to the shins. This time, if you'd like to, you can take the same variation we just did, or you can take the hands to the heart, which requires a little bit more strength and control. So inhale, finding your tall spine. And on your exhale, you're going to pull the chest up
towards the ceiling, and then send the gaze up towards the ceiling. Really squeezing into the glutes here. One more inhale. And exhale, recover the spine. Set the heels back. If you'd like to bring the forehead to the ground for a child's pose, it's a lovely way to reset after this pose. You can take the eyes to close if you'd like. If you're feeling a little bit dizzy or lightheaded, that's extremely normal in camel pose. We will take one more round, but if you're feeling uncomfortable and you think that you're ready to be done, you can take a child's pose and catch up with us on the next pose. But if you're still with me, we'll come back up onto the shins one more time. Third variation you can try, you can take either of the previous variations that we've done, or you can take the arms up and overhead. Inhale as if somebody's pulling on the wrists, reach up towards the ceiling. Squeeze into the glutes, and maybe take the fingertips back. It doesn't have to be a big back bend. It's more about the control. One more breath here. And exhale, arms come down, hips sit towards the heels. We're just gonna cross over the shins and take the legs to extend out in front of you. We're gonna take a little fold to counter those poses. So inhale, finding length in the spine, and exhale, just walk the fingertips forward. And you can bring the hands alongside the legs. You can reach for the shins or for the feet if that's open to you. Just let the head drop here. So really rounding, letting this be a more passive forward fold. Just a little counter for those camel poses. If you're finding that the breath was a little bit uneven from those camel poses, again, it's normal for a pose like that to take us away from the steadiness of our breath. But just use this opportunity of the more restful pose to regulate it now. Next, inhale, slowly taking the spine back up. And you're gonna bend into the left leg. A few options here. You can cross the left ankle over the right shin below the knee, or over the thigh above the knee. Just make sure that it's not on the knee. So you can come into this variation of a figure four, or if it feels accessible to you, you can take the left heel in towards the outer edge of the right hip and try and stack the knees for this variation on Gomukhasana pose. Inhale, find a little bit of length in the spine. You can take the fingertips behind you to traction the chest forward. And then from here, gently walking the fingers forward, taking a gentle fold over the legs. Big inhale here. And on the exhales, maybe you find a little more space in the outer left hip. Maybe a little more opening in the back of the right hamstring. You can have this be a little more active if you'd like by pulling the palms of the hands back towards your hips and pulling your chest through.
Or you can just let it be passive. Maybe the hands, palms come face towards the ceiling, and maybe you round into the back. We'll take one more breath here. Next inhale takes your spine back up. We're going to keep the legs as they are. Right hand comes to the outer edge of the left thigh, and then the left fingertips come behind you. Take a gentle twist over to the left. So really trying to be wide across the shoulders here. On the inhales, maybe finding length in the spine, crown of the head towards the ceiling. And on the exhales, you may be able to rinse a little bit further to the left. We'll take one more inhale here. And exhale, releasing the twist, unraveling the left leg to meet the right leg in front of you again. We'll take that to the other side. So whatever variation you took, either crossing the ankle over the shin, maybe over the knee, or maybe the right heel comes to the outer left hip, and the knees attempt to stack. Again, one of my favorites is using the fingertips behind you so that you can press into the fingertips, pull the chest forward. I just think that's such a lovely stretch to open across the chest. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, fingertips walk forward. Again, you can use that press of the palms and pull towards your hips to pull the chest through. Or you can take the more passive option. Maybe the forearms come to the floor, palms of the hands face up. And the back rounds. You can also play around with both. So you can use the inhales to pull the chest forward, traction the hands back. And then exhales to relax, fold forward, palms face up. And your next inhale is going to take your spine straight, sitting upright. And exhale, find the right fingertips behind your right sit bones. Taking the left hand to the outer edge of the right thigh and taking a gentle twist. Inhales to find length in the spine. And exhale, maybe you can rinse a little bit more. Lengthening your breath here. Letting your body know that we're slowing down. One more big inhale. And exhale, let it release. Unwind the legs. And I'll give you one last option for a little bit of more active ending. So reaching the arms forward, legs are straight. On your exhale, slowly lowering down, rolling through each one of your vertebrae, coming to reclined on your back. Keep it controlled and slow. And when you arrive, hands plant, palms facing down next to your hips, bending into both knees, planting the feet right in close to your sit bones. You might be able to tickle your heels with your fingers. And we'll just take a few more back bends here. These are optional, so if you're ready for something a little more restful, you can take a Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees fall wide. But if you're still with me, we'll take a bridge pose here. So press firmly into both feet, roll the hips up, squeeze into the glutes. Hips lift up towards the ceiling. Feel the backs of your shoulders pressing firmly into the floor. Palms of the hands push into the floor as well. One more inhale here. And exhale with control from the top of the spine, roll down all the way. Tailbone comes last. One more inhale here. And exhale, just melt into the floor. Feel the feet rooted, back of the skull supported. On your next inhale, pressing firmly into the feet, tailbone tucks to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Feeling the heat along the backs of the legs. And we'll stay here for 3, 2, 1. And with control, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Hips come to the floor last. We'll take one more back bend. I'm gonna demonstrate wheel pose, but if wheel pose is not in your practice, you can take one more bridge, or you can take an early Shavasana if you'd like to. But if you're with me, we're starting in bridge, so pressing into the feet, pulling the hips up towards the ceiling. If you're steady here, maybe the hands come to plant next to the ears. The fingertips are flipped towards the shoulders. And press into the hands, pulling the chest through. Really squeeze into the glutes, press firmly into the feet. Again, here we want to make sure that we're distributing the bend in the back as evenly as possible. One more inhale here. As we exhale, bend into the elbows, tucking the chin, lowering the shoulders down. And we'll just take the knees to hug in towards the chest. You can take a little rock from side to side if you'd like. And the last pose we'll take before Shavasana is Happy Baby. So reaching towards the outside edges of the feet. And pull the knees down and out to the sides. And if you're newer to yoga, this may feel really silly. That's okay. It's one of the wonderful things about being able to practice in the comfort of your own home. So that if you feel silly in certain poses, it's okay because it's just you. Maybe a partner or a cat. And we'll take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, release the hold on the feet if you have them. Just let the legs come to extend. Lying out flat on the back. And finding your Shavasana. Our final resting pose.
So I will leave you in silence, but I always say this at the end of my classes when we're preparing for Shavasana. The goal of Shavasana is to be as comfortable and restful as possible. So if this traditional Shavasana is not comfortable or restful for you, then you can feel free to take anything else. If you need a blanket so that you're warmer, if you'd like to plant the feet wide and drop the knees in towards each other for a constructive rest, if you feel like you want something that's a little bit more closed off so you feel safer. Or you can take a child's pose if this feels too vulnerable. You can also do a seated meditation. But I'll leave you in silence here for the next few minutes. In your perfect, comfortable position. And I will call you back when it's time. Gently starting to bring your attention back to your body if it's drifted. You can start to reintroduce some gentle movements back into the body. So maybe wiggling into the fingers and the toes. Maybe you shake your head no, rocking your skull, along the floor. And then keeping the eyes closed, we're going to make our way to a seat, any comfortable seat you'd like, with the hands at your heart in a prayer position. So you can roll to one side if you'd like, into a fetal position. You can rock yourself up through the center. Taking your time, really taking these last few moments. Continue to indulge in this presence that you've created. Once you've found your comfortable seat, eyes closed with the hands at the heart, we'll take a deep inhale together through the nose. Little pause at the top. And exhale, sigh out through the mouth. You can gently blink the eyes to open. And you can move on to the rest of your day. So thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. I do upload every week, so if you enjoyed this class, please do like it. Give me any comments below if you have any constructive criticism for my future classes. And yeah, if you liked it, keep an eye out for more. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that this class made you feel a little bit more open and a little bit more present.